Hi, I'm Camilla.
And I'm Kang, and we are the FI Resellers.
And last week we had an amazing week of sales, so we can't wait to show you some of our best sales. And we also are going to share one dud because, it's not all sunshine and roses in the reselling world. We have great sales, and then a lot of our sales are just kind of average, basic, and then some that are like
so funny, actually.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that.
Exactly.
Okay, when I think of Peter Millar, I think of pretty fancy. Now, I don't know if it's exactly synonymous with high class, but to me, it is. You let me know down in the comments what you think of Peter Millar, but this sold for $40. It's just a quarter zip. It sold in the end of July, so we're pretty happy about, getting rid of certain items like this, especially when it's off season. We are trying to make as many sales as possible, so this is really nice. It's got a really nice pattern. It's got some really nice navy color blocks here, and so happy with that. So be on the lookout for Peter Millar. The resale value is pretty good, and we tend to pick it up when we find it. So I've got a wool skirt for you here, and the brand is Isabel Marant, and this one is a pretty good brand to be on the lookout for, though it only sold for $33, and that's because it was damaged. We found a hole, and so the hole is right there, and even with this flaw, it sold for $33. It had quite a bit of attention. It's a pretty fancy brand, and we ended up taking the offer on Poshmark and giving the person discounted shipping because it does have a certain level of protection on Poshmark, since we did disclose that hole, that flaw on Poshmark. So we're pretty good there. We're feeling pretty good about it. At the end of the day, we had made the mistake of, not seeing that hole, but we listed it anyway, considering the brand and it's wool. It's really nice. So it was worth, going through the trouble of trying to find the right buyer who wants something that is flawed like this.
Okay, so we sold this quilt, and it's a pinwheel pattern, and it's got this really cool kind of edge on here, scalloped edge, and we have had this quilt for a pretty long time. It's been just sitting with us and just waiting for the right buyer, which finally came along. She messaged us about a month ago and said, I want to buy this quilt. Can I buy it on August 1st? Have the same offer. So I sent out offers to watchers, and she wanted me to honor the offer. And I said, if it's still around on August 1st, then of course, I will definitely honor this offer. And so she came back. It's August 2nd, but still pretty good. Rare occurrence that someone actually comes back and buys when they ask, will you hold this for me or whatnot. So really excited for this sale. It sold $75 plus shipping, which is great for a quilt like this. This is just kind of a basic, pinwheel style. It has a little tag that says, homemade, especially by, and has the person's name who made it, which, if you don't know, these are often used by people who sew a lot. They get these kind of custom made. They can order them, or even importer them themselves, and they'll attach it to things that they make, just to kind of honor their work and things like that. So really excited to send this off. This pattern is also sometimes called an Ohio star, so that is another keyword that you can use in the listing.
All right, a really cool one for you. This is Dyson. They're just spare parts, and I just lotted them up into an eBay listing, and I put 4 parts, just a big lot, and the comps for these kind of individually were going for between $10 and $30. So I decided to just list it all for $45, and I got the full asking price plus shipping. So I was really happy when this sale came in, because recently I had gotten some lowball offers for $30, and the guy kept on sending me $30 offer after $30 offer, and I almost broke down. I said to Camilla, if he sends me another $30 offer, I might just take it, because it's been a little while since I've listed these. And so these are genuine Dyson parts. And I've known that Dyson is a really good brand. It's pretty expensive. And so when you are replacing these parts, they can tend to be pretty expensive as well. And I believe some of these are actually extras, so they don't generally come with the original Dyson vacuum. So it's all really nice for whoever is buying this. And then the other thing is that there are no electronic parts, so I just got to make sure that some of these moving parts are really well handled when I am bubble wrapping and whatnot. And I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. We also sometimes have these padded flat rates that are returns from, buyers. And we keep them because obviously they're bubble mailers, so we do want to recycle as much as we can. So I'm just going to put some of these in here as well. There you go. It ain't pretty, but it'll do the job. So we just ended up putting it in a large mailing box, kind of stuffed this whole thing. Obviously the bubbles will help it, and we're going to ship it out.
So our next sale is this Double D Ranch blouse, and I picked this up a little while ago as part of a haul that we're going to show sometime soon, and I'm always really excited to find this brand. It usually does pretty well for us. I thought this was a really cute top, and it sold for $30 plus shipping. It does have a few kind of like imperfections on the beading and things, but I think it might be intentional. It looks kind of like it's, sort of that bohemian sort of look to it. So I noted that in the listing, but really excited to send this out, especially to get $30 for such kind of it's embellished and things, but it is still a tank top. So it's not like a lot of, material, a super fancy thing, but overall, this is a great brand and you should be on the lookout for it. You can tell it's a pretty good brand because like the tag is almost like a suede, and like junky brands don't have stuff like that, like that's just like a really nice thing. So you might, notice that as you're looking through the bins and things. That's a good thing to remember, is that, that's a really fancy tag, so you should consider looking it up.
Okay, we've got this bundle of 3 that's sold on Poshmark. It consists of this Magellan hiking pants. It's pretty nice, convertible, pretty cool. And we've got this Hawk shirt by Tony Hawk, whatever company that creates this for him. It's new to tag. Not bad, not bad. But the gem of it really is this puffer coat in the back here. It's this trench, full length, vintage, pretty cool puffer coat, size 18. And it's a little over 4 feet in length. So it's quite long. It's really quite nice. Really like it. This is what made it $40, and quite frankly we kind of had to throw this in because of just the offer. This is kind of a throwaway almost, and this is really good value for the customer. Overall, not a great sale, but not a terribly bad sale. Because this is vintage, it's kind of difficult to get a buyer for something like this without going through the trouble or waiting. Obviously, we could have waited, but having a bundle and a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush type situation is kind of what we found ourselves doing here. So we took it, $40, and we're going to ship it out just probably in a large mailing box. Should fit pretty easily. This is something that does not happen very often. We have another bundle of 3 items that sold on Poshmark, and all 3 of these sold for $50. The first is this packed long sleeve shirt. It's pretty basic. We priced it at $20 originally, but it's probably not worth $20. It might be worth closer to $15 or less. And then we've got this LL Bean, this very nice plaid flannel. This one, pretty cool. Really a nice green color, so there you go. And then obviously we've got this really nice coat, and it's made by Banana Republic, and it's got some really good materials. We've got wool in it, and it's actually a really soft wool, which I like. And then we've got nylon and other fibers. And it's Italian fabric by Mario Bellucci, Prato, Italy. Really, really nice. It had some blemishes. We originally listed it for $46, and if it were in any better condition, we easily could have gotten $50. But we're happy to take an offer for $50 for all 3 of these. Now, you'll notice that all 3 of these are cold weather, cold climate items. It seems like this is the time to be listing these type of items. People are getting ready for the cold. We sold quite a few things last week that is also in this category, so it looks to be that you should probably be listing this category right now. At least kind of consider what are the trends going on. These are some pretty fall-like neutral colors, and this obviously is very mountain man type. So you got to make sure that you're making some informed decisions at the thrift store, and then posting these as fast as you can.
So those are some of our best sales from the past week. You probably are like, how do they keep selling quilts for so much? We just want to let you know that quilts can go for a lot of money. And so if you find them out in the thrift store and they're priced well, even if they're not priced well, you might want to look it up anyway, because you might think it's really expensive, but then on eBay it's going for even more. So you might still have a good profit margin there. So those are some of our best sales, and now time for one dud. So we sold this Almost Famous. It was like this distress kind of t-shirt basically, and it sold for $7 on Poshmark. We made a total of 68 cents, and we've had it for 779 days. So
Crazy.
Terrible buy, terrible pickup from like
2 years
seriously
ago.
the beginning of when we were starting to, become serious about reselling, actually picking things up to resell, and this was not a good pickup.
Right.
So it just goes to show you that, things will sell, but was it worth storing in our house and relisting it and, all of that for years, literal years? No, probably not.
No.
So definitely think about, if you have some of those bad buys from the beginning. We have been, trying to work through our death pile, and then the next step is to, really look at those old inventory and make sure that the things that we have in our store, in our closet, are, desirable items that people want to buy, and that we don't just have like just junk in there. So
right.
That's definitely kind of a task that you have in reselling that it's not always on the front burner. Usually it's on the back burner, and out of sight, out of mind. But something to keep in mind, because it does take part of your energy to, have these items. And if they're not selling, then it's not really worth it.
Right.
Okay, so including that terrible sale, we sold 42 items last week for a gross revenue of $975.35. We had a cost of goods of $91.92. And on eBay, we sold 15 items for $292.47. On Poshmark, we sold 23 items for a total of $250.83. So that included those bundles. So those were, multiple items, but for very cheap. And then on Facebook, we sold 4 items for a net profit of $42.54. So in total, our net profit for the week was $593.84. So that is the amount after fees, shipping, and cost of goods. So that's the actual amount that we transfer from, all these different platforms into our bank account, but pre-tax. So overall, a great week. We sold a lot of items. We only listed about 35. So I actually love when we sell more items than we're listing. That makes me feel really good. It makes me feel like we're getting closer to a higher sell-through rate in terms of the amount of items that we have versus the amount that are selling. So I love that. I love feeling like that. And it was just a good week of sales overall. We made almost $600, which is really good for very, very part-time work.
Right.
We are, not spending a lot of time on this. Basically, I'm, listing items while I'm nursing our baby, and that's about it. And setting offers
Multitasking.
while she's napping, that sort of thing. So
Reselling is a mixed bag for sure, because this week we sold 42 items, and it's about the same amount of profit as last week when we sold only 20 some odd items. The average profit per item last week was pretty high compared to this week. This week we had those few bundles, a lot more items going out, but as always, it's a roller coaster for sure, and hopefully you're seeing a lot more items go through. I think that momentum is a really big deal in reselling. You're just getting a lot of good things happening, and regardless of the numbers, you can feel that things are moving in the right direction. Well, speaking of moving in the right directions, now it's time for our segment on building wealth. And this week, we are going to talk about something that happened to us. But as always, we're going to update you on the total stock market index experiment that we've got going on. We put the $43 from our Facebook marketplace profits into the experiment, and you can see that it's about the same as where it was last week. We're still about $800 down, and that's not terrible. As always, we put just a little bit so that you can feel like there is progress that is being made, even if it's little by little. And so hopefully this encourages you to look into this, maybe plan for the future, things like that. There isn't a whole lot to talk about in terms of stock this week. So we do want to shift into kind of this idea that we practice what we preach. Previously, we talked about, asking for things and really training that muscle to get the maximum value out of life, right? All the experiences of life. Where Camilla had given birth just a few months ago, we had finally gotten the final bill from the hospital. Obviously, there's a deductible for insurance that Camilla fulfilled, and then for our baby, she fulfilled a separate deductible, and so you have to pay 2 bills essentially. And the second bill for our baby was about $1,500, which is a little more than the deductible. And all things said and done, It was close to $1,600, but let's just round it down to $1,500 for the sake of just round numbers and for just talking about what the end result was. What I did was call, and I had to call twice to the hospital to talk to the person in charge of billing. And what ended up happening is the first time they kind of hung up on me because I guess I was on hold for too long. And then the second time I finally got through to them, and all I had to do was ask for a discount. That's all I had to do. I didn't ask for a specific amount. I didn't have to ask to be transferred to a different person, a higher manager, or anything like that. The person that picked up was a person I spoke to, was a person that gave me automatically 35% off. So we saved $500 just by asking. To us, that's what building wealth and getting the maximum value out of all of these experiences looks like. It's about taking the money that you have, preparing, right? We were prepared to spend all this money, but then seeing if there's another opportunity for us so that we can put that money elsewhere. And so we had talked about all the various things we could do with the $500, but we have more bills that we need to pay. So we're just going to reallocate that. And so building wealth to us has a lot to do with putting money where it's supposed to be, to feel that we aren't stressed about all the other financial obligations that we have.
Building wealth is a lot for average people. A lot of it is about thinking creatively about your money and thinking creatively about the situations that you're in. So in that situation, we got this bill, we could have just paid it online, and just automatically paid it. But instead, we were thinking creatively about it, about how we could save money and how we could, make the most out of that situation. And there are tons of situations like this, just to think like, how can I do this differently that would maximize the value? How can I do this differently that would save me money? And that might not be what the mainstream is doing, whether that's, having your thermostat really low or really high in the summer, or whether that's, biking to work or different things. You can think creatively about your own situation and how you can save money. And even if it's not what anybody else that you see around doing, that doesn't mean that it's not right for you.
Hopefully that helps you think about building wealth in a way that is not just specific to us, but in a way that helps you frame the mindset of how can I do what is best for me in the situation that I'm in, and trying to maximize the money that I have, trying to negotiate wherever I can. Hopefully the long-winded story kind of gives you a little bit of what we've gone through, but at the same time, just giving you that mindset, giving you the confidence with a real life experience to go by to, ask for more, ask for better, and try to get the maximum value out of your money.
Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. That tells YouTube that this is a good video, and we love when YouTube thinks that this is a good video. That's the best. And if you aren't subscribed, consider subscribing. We'd love to have you as part of our YouTube community. And leave a comment down below how your week is going. Have you been selling a good amount of items? Have you been feeling kind of like that back to school rush in your store or closet? Let us know down in the comments. We'd love to chat with you there.
Yeah, keep that passion burning, y'all. It's the changing of the seasons. Hopefully you're selling a lot of great fall items already. People are starting to shop for those things. We sold quite a few things, as you saw in the video, and we hope that your business is doing well. We're really rooting for you. We'll see you later.
Bye.